I recently got back into some TTM autographs, some through the mail autographs, and I've realized that there's just a much better way to go about doing this. So today, that's what we're going to talk about here real quick. Now, the first thing is you're going to have access to addresses, of course. And there's two sites that are my go-tos for that. You've got sportscollectors.net, and that particular website, I do pay for the membership there. I just think that it works out a lot better. The second one is sportscardforum.com. Now, as far as the websites go, I will leave links to those as well as the supplies and everything else down in a pinned comment below. Now, why do I think that this method is better? Well, I think this method is better because it's a little more streamlined process as far as me and getting things together. And then it's also makes things, I think, a little bit easier on that particular person that you're sending to sign. Now, what I like to do is batches of 5. So I'll go to those sites and I'll find, 5 players that I want to do autographs for, and then I will of course pick the cards that I want to use. Now, eBay can be a great source if you're just looking for some cheap singles, just to get that signature on the card, just to get that autograph. Keep in mind too, when I do 5 at a time, what I like to do with these websites, they have a database and a way of keeping track and tracking things that will not only help you, but it will help other people as well. So I highly recommend that you put that data into those websites once you start sending out your envelopes. Speaking of the envelopes, so still using a 2 envelope system, but what I like to do is use a larger envelope of a different color and then just a standard sized envelope. And you can see here that the smaller envelope fits nice and neatly inside the larger one. Don't forget, you're going to have 2 stamps. You do want to stamp those. So, what you'll want to do is you will want to print your labels and get those all ready to go. Now, I use a 4x6 thermal label printer, and I like the fold style labels. I like using that style. I just find they feed a little better. You're gonna need 2 labels. You're gonna need one with your obviously return address and then the address for the TTM. Then you're gonna need the one that's gonna go on the envelope coming back to you, and that's gonna be both of your addresses. So we're going to get this on the envelopes here because we're going to walk completely through this process. So there's our main envelope. And with these 4x6 labels, you're probably going to want to stick these on before you do your stamp. Notice that I've covered up the stamp area there. And they're going to be a little bit tall. So I typically just fold that over and crease it like so. Once we've got our envelopes ready to go, we've got our cards ready, we've got all of this stuff, I like to take and make me a letter. I will print it out. You can handwrite it however you want. And typically, what I'll do is I will just write some nice little thing that I remember about that player. Then I'll do a request that they, sign the cards in there. You want to keep in mind too that with those websites, when you go to get your addresses, that some of the players do charge a fee. Now, typically, I'm going to send, a $5 bill cash in the envelope just as a thank you. Sometimes they send that back, but you want to make sure that you've got that appropriate amount. Once we have that, letter made, I like to fold it around the smaller envelope. So we're just going to fold this, kind of make a little pocket, so to speak, right? And the reason we're going to do that is we know at that point it will fit inside our larger envelope. So there we go. We've got our little pocket ready. Now we're going to talk about putting the cards in here. And, before I was using, obviously you can see right there, obviously, I would send um, either soft protectors, penny sleeves, top loaders, things like that. And the risk that you run is that some players, some signers will sign on the protector or whatever rather than the card itself. Plus, it's a hassle for them to get it in and get it out of the protector and all that stuff. So, what I like to do is use these perforated foldy card things, these card sleeves, and see how they fold over nice and neat. And these little photo tabs. And I use only 2 of the photo tabs per card. So we're going to slide that corner in and we'll lift that off. And then we'll go with the opposite diagonal corner and we'll do the same thing. We'll slide that in ever so carefully into the corner and that just lifts off. Now, those are sticky. So we're going to stick this now into this little card thing. Let's make sure they're on there pretty decently. And we're going to stick that onto the card. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to hold that into place pretty well. But it's also going to make it pretty easy to get out. And when your signer opens it up, they literally can flip this open, sign, close it up, put it back in there, send it to you. So it makes it easy on them. And then if you need to get this card out, because I just used the 2, I can actually tweak the card as well as the cover there just ever so slightly, and I'll be able to get that out and then put that in a top loader or whatever. For your TTMs, you're not going to be likely sending that in to PSA, getting them graded. This is for the fun of it. Now, if they do return this card, which hopefully they do, it's really easy to put cards back in this. See how I bent the card just a little bit and I put it back in there. So you can actually reuse these. So once you buy the little cardboard things and the little tabs, you're good to go for a lot of different, yeah, a lot of different TTMs, right? So now we're going to put, obviously we would put our cash in here. We're going to put our cards in here. You do want to make sure too that you have a self-sealing envelopes. Again, make it easier on those signers. We're going to put that inside our letter like so. That all goes in the larger envelope. And with that, you can put another card, one on each side. Typically, I'll send at least 2 cards when I do TTM. Going to seal that up, and now you are ready to mail.